Live better and longer with the Fitzness Show, hosted by fitness expert, author, and TV personality Fitz Kohler. She'll tell you why diets are dumb, supplements are snake oil, and the truth about how you can earn a lean, hard, pain-free, and athletic body. Now for our favorite bossy blonde, Fitz Kohler.
Well, hi team, I'm Fitz Kohler, your incredibly bossy fitness pro from fitzness.com, and welcome to the Fitzness Show. Today I have all sorts of personal gossip to review with you. That's right. You guys are my sounding board. You're my besties, and you get to hear all the things that, that I need to share, right? If I don't have a friend here to go for a walk with, I'm going for a walk with you. So whether you're sitting down in bed leisurely listening or driving in your car or working out with me, you are my bestie listening to the gossip. So there. And then also I have some great questions that have been submitted that I'm excited to answer for you because the Q&A shows are, I really like them. I like A-ing your Qs. I mean, a lot to me to be able to be a problem solver for you. That's right. I feel like your mechanic fixing your car. You show up and you leave there with a better experience driving. I'm hoping to have you leave the Fitzness Show with a better experience in life in general. If you haven't already done so yet, don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen, whether it's Spotify or Apple Music or Amazon, wherever. Click subscribe. And here's the other thing you can do is click download. So if you download the Fitzness Show, it'll be in your phone. So wherever you are, whether you have reception or not, they'll be there accessible to you. It's just a little hack. You may not know it. It's a pro tip that I'm sharing because I love you and I want you to listen to the freaking show. Also, if you haven't done so yet, my new book, You Supercharge, the exact formula for fitness, weight loss, and longevity is just screaming for you. It's sitting here in my office saying, come on, take me home with you. Let me change you. Let me make you better. Think about yourself, but stronger, leaner, more creative, more social, better balance, more energy, more sporty, more adventurous, all the things you will get from this ridiculous book I wrote. So buy the book here at fitzness.com. I sign them all. I include the little Fitzy sticker and I send them out with love. And also, if you have read the book, thank you so much. Please write an Amazon review. It's funny, I've sold so many of these books and there are 12 reviews. That's right, I'm talking to you. I know what you have and haven't done. And I don't ask for a lot of favors or a lot of things in return, but this is what I'm asking. Please write the review. Come on. Okay. That's it for my badgering. Okay, now I'm going to tell you about my gossip. We're starting there. So I don't think I mentioned this on the show before, but I have a really cool opportunity with the Jacksonville Icemen. It's a minor league pro hockey team. They are professionals. They're just not NHL. And I was pursued to come do some announcing for their Whiteout for Cancer Night, which will be April 3rd at ViStar Arena in Jacksonville. And I had never even seen a live hockey game before. I've watched plenty of hockey on television. I am a raging sports fan, which includes almost all sports. But yeah, it's like, okay, this sounds great. And I was invited the day before they needed me to come to ViStar to do a jersey reveal. They're asking everyone who attends that night to wear white for cancer. It's a whiteout for cancer. And there will be an opportunity to celebrate the cancer survivors in the arena and remember those we've lost. And one of the things they're doing is they have a special jersey, a custom Icemen jersey, and it's beautiful. So they asked me to come in to do a photo shoot and some video footage in that jersey. And so I was so excited to get there. You know, I've announced a ton of running and triathlon and obstacle course racing and cycling events and then professional pickleball. And I've done some other sports, basketball and soccer on a more modest level. But to be able to go do professional ice hockey is pretty badass. So I was thrilled just to get there. And they brought me in through the back door of the arena and some of the Icemen were practicing and they hooked me up with this great jersey and we took some pictures. Now, as many of you know, I do not enjoy the photo shoots. I'm not a photo shoot kind of girl. They irk me. I like to be active. I don't like to pose. Posing is not my forte, but I'm just going to do what I was asked to do. So the jersey is very pretty. It's white with a lavender ribbon and the Iceman logo. And what they're offering is that anyone can have that jersey customized with a name on the back of the jersey and their favorite number. So for me, I said put Fitz on mine with the number 13 because that's my lucky number. That was my soccer number as a kid. So I don't know. I don't know if I even believe in luck, but whatever. I've assigned 13 to me. If I pick a number, I go with 13. And so other folks can do the same. Maybe they could choose, put their deceased wife's name on the back of their jersey or their dad's name if they lost him to cancer or if he's fighting cancer, and then a number that is special to them. So these custom jerseys are pretty cool and they're beautiful. So it was nice to be able to go and put one on. And we took some cool photos in the Icemen locker room, and the media people, they were all decked out with purple lights, and it was pretty awesome. And thankfully I didn't have to do too much weird posing. There was a lot of like, look down, look at your shoulder, look at the logo on your shoulder, which fine by me. Fine by me. And I think we were in there and they said, well, put a helmet on. Okay. So we put the helmet on, and then they gave me a hockey stick. So pose with a hockey stick and then pose with a hockey puck, which was super fun to get all the hockey gear start coming at me. And then they said, okay, well, let's go out on the ice. And so first they put me in it's not a dugout. I don't know if they call it the bench where the hockey players sit when they're not playing. And so we took some pictures there, and then they let me out on the ice. And the ice, yeah, it was very slippery. I was not in ice skates. This is not an ice rink. I mean, it is an ice rink, but it's not a skating rink where you go and you skate for fun. This is an ice arena that's there specifically for a pro team. So they're not renting out skates, right? If you don't show up with your own ice skates, you don't have ice skates, which I did not. Also, I'm very mediocre on ice skates. I can hang, do that awkward shuffle around an ice skating rink, but I don't have any legit ice skating skills or nothing like the hockey guys. So I was out there in my little boots, very eager not to fall down. And so they let me take some shots on the hockey net, and I don't know. I did a bunch of fun stuff. They're creating a video that will introduce me to the crowd on April 3rd. And so my responsibility on the 3rd will be to celebrate the cancer survivors. And really, they plucked me for this because they've seen what I do at the Donna Foundation, the Donna National Marathon to Finish Breast Cancer. And so I am a survivor seeking missile at those events when those survivors, either at the start line or when they come through the finish line, I find them, I grab them, I acknowledge them. This is their name. This is how long they're cancer free. It's going to be very fun for me at the hockey game on the 3rd because I will have all types of survivors there, all different types of cancers, maybe children, maybe veterans, who knows, men, women, you name it. And so I love being nice to people. I love celebrating people, the opportunity to turn happy spotlight on you, whoever you are, and then get the crowd involved, get a whole arena full of people to cheer for you. That's thrilling to me. That is right in my comfort zone. So absolutely pumped about that. Had a great time doing this photo shoot with the media team. And then I took off. I left and I had to give back the jersey, but they promised they were making me a custom jersey on my own with, again, Fitz and 13, which will be a lot of fun for me. My other custom jersey I have is when I used to announce the Buffalo Marathon. The Bills created jerseys for Rudy and I. So mine has Fitz 13 on the back. I think he's Rudy and number 7 or something like that. Everybody likes number 7, right? But yeah, so I'll get another cool hockey jersey, which I love. And then what they said is, please come to a game between the 3rd and that shoot so I could get the lay of the land and see how things work. And again, I'm pretty familiar because I've watched a ton of hockey on television, but getting there was a really good experience. And then the other reason I wanted to get in there is to do a microphone check. So I have had the experience. Oh, I did talk about this on a recent episode. The echo, crazy. You get out in a stadium, especially a football stadium. If you are on the field speaking on a microphone, that your voice just ricochets and hits you back in the face, and it's very disorienting. That's likely why all the announcers are normally in booths with bulletproof glass in front of them. They're just protected with headphones to protect themselves for that echo. I won't have that luxury, but I did a mic check last weekend. I went back for a game and I had very little echo. So I can hear myself speak, but not in a confusing way. But get this. So the sound guy, Kenny, who everybody loves, Kenny, the sound guy, he's been doing this for 30 years. He's been with the Icemen for almost 10 years. He was so lovely, which I appreciate. Sometimes I show up at a place and people turf guard. They think, oh, there's a new person. We don't want her. She's on my turf. Get her out. So I have had those experiences even at races, which I mean, so many stories that people wouldn't want me to share, right? But Kenny was as sweet as they come. He gave me the mic, and this is before any of the spectators came in. I got to do a little mic check, and it was fine. And then he gives me the big mic pack, and it's not just a normal mic pack, and it's not even a mic pack. I don't even know what to call the thing, but it's big and kind of heavy and solid. It's a few pounds, and he puts it on my pocket in the front of my jeans. And then he gives me one of those broadcaster headsets with the smushy things over my ears. I was like, Kenny, I can't wear this out on the ice. I can't do that. Oh, also, when I do the thing it'll be it's not halftime, it's during the breaks between first and second or second and third period. I've been told that after hockey has been played, that the ice is no longer slippery and you can walk around on it and it feels just like you're walking on the ground. So we will see. Hopefully me and the other survivors out there walking around aren't slipping and sliding and falling on our faces. That probably would be my most viral moment if I do eat it. So I'm desperately hoping not to eat it. But I clearly don't want to be out there with those big headset with the big ear things. But the show is highly produced. So there's a producer in a booth and she's saying, okay, run the video to do this. Now introduce the anthem singer. Now this. She's calling all the plays because it's a very highly produced sporting event, which I respect that, right? So he goes, well, how about we just give you an IFB, which is the little thing you see people wear in their ears. Okay, sure. I can wear the IFB, but then this is where the IFB becomes a problem. And I've used it when I've hosted television shows. What did I sit in for as host of the talk show Emotional Mojo quite a few years ago? I wore an IFB there and I could hear the producer, but they were really coming in on, we'll be live in 3, 2, 1 type thing. It wasn't talking over me. And I believe there would be a lot of talking over me while I was doing my thing with the Icemen. But so many people on television are just reading. They're reading a teleprompter or they're reading a script in some regard. And I don't read. It's not one of the things I do. I do not read when on camera or at a live event. I speak. And so I need to be agile. I need to be on my feet mentally. I need to be light on my feet. And having someone talking in your ear is pretty distracting. And then you lose your place. You lose track of your thoughts. So I didn't want to be a brat. I didn't want to be a diva and say, Kenny, I won't wear that. So trying to navigate that situation. But I said, what if they're talking too much, Kenny? He goes, well, you just pop it out. And he took his and he popped it right out. And I said, okay. All right. As long as we're good with that, I get out on the ice. If somebody starts yammering too much, I go, boop, pop it out. And then I can I can focus on the things that I am responsible for. Sounds like a win-win to me. So it was awesome. Let me tell you, if you have not been to a live hockey match, it's a fantastic experience. Dress warm because it's a cold environment, but super fun, such a fast-moving sport, and very cool to see these athletes moving around on the ice as though they are on their feet. They are as agile as soccer players are on the grass. It's just really the skill set, the comfort blows my mind. And I've been around sports forever and ever, but man, they're so athletic. It was really fun. I had a wonderful time. So I appreciate being invited to take part with the Jacksonville Icemen, and maybe I'll get to do more of this in the future. Who knows? But it's a really cool experience right now. And if you are in Florida, in the North Central Florida area, and you can make it over to the Icemen on April 3rd, you should. Tickets are available online. And then if you have beaten up on cancer or if you're in the process of it, and sign up, go to their website and you can find out how to register as one of the cancer survivors. And then I can do hoopla for you. I would very much like to do hoopla for you. So that's my Iceman gossip. So I posted the other day a photo. I had my annual checkup with my oncologist, my hematology oncologist, Dr. Gordon. And so I started treatment in 2019. I finished mid 2020, but I'm still on a drug called tamoxifen. I take it every night and it's supposed to prevent the breast cancer from coming back. And so far it's working, which I think is great. But I have to go back once a year. I still do scans. I do a mammogram and an ultrasound every 6 months. So it's either a mammogram or an ultrasound every 6 months. But they're doing their due diligence, keeping track of me. And then I show up and I talk to my doctor and, we discuss how I'm feeling. And he asks all these probing questions. Do you have a headache? Do you have any pain? Do you have any digestive issues? Blah, blah, blah. He's looking to see if maybe something has returned, if he can cut it off, right? We're finding it early and moving on. But I go in there feeling fabulous. I never dread my oncology appointments. When I was being treated, I did. It scared the bejesus out of me to show up for chemo because I knew what it was going to do to me. My first radiation, I cried the whole way through. I didn't know what to expect. And there was a lot of fear and a lot of stress and a lot of soreness and a lot of reason to be scared and stuff. But I walk in to Dr. Gordon's, the Florida Cancer Specialist building now. I don't have any of those concerns. I feel great. And then I get inside and I start glitching. I start seeing the things. I start seeing, you're sitting in a room and you can see half the women in the room are wearing wigs. Some of the people are in wheelchairs. There's the caregivers, all of this stuff going on. And it just takes me back. And I don't freak out by any means, but all of a sudden I'm there again, right? I'm there again. And it just feels weird. I start getting so squirmy and I just and I start realizing what's going on with me. My body kind of wiggles around. I look over my shoulder. That's one of the weirdest things. I start looking over my shoulder as if somebody's going to get me. Clearly nobody in there is going to jump out and spring like in a horror movie. But that's kind of how I do. I'm squirmy. I look over my shoulder a lot. I do a little pacing. I walk by my chemo chair, which is right out in front. I used to sit primarily in the same chair for all my chemo treatments and most of my IV fluid visits, unless someone was in my chair, and that was rude. But um, yeah, it's just fascinating to go back and feel myself turn into somebody else. I lose that easy breezy, ain't no big thing. Even though I'm not scared, I don't think I have cancer. It is wild. It is very wild. And so, despite that, I had a lovely visit with Dr. Gordon, and he is just, I do think of him as one of the smartest humans on earth. I don't know if that's true, but to me, he is. He is, I would say, mid-50s. He's also been the president of the Florida Cancer Specialist. So, not only a hematologist, a working doctor taking care of patients, but he's president of this massive cancer institution that has over 100 locations throughout the state of Florida. He travels all around the country, all around the globe, giving presentations. He's a leader in the industry. Oh my gosh, he's so good. But he's retiring or stepping down as president. He's going to continue being a doctor and continue doing research, which he loves. But my great fear, I go in there and I think, oh my gosh, I need him, right? I don't think I need almost anybody. I think I need my kids. But as far as need goes, it's few and far between. But he is the solution for me. I goes, gosh, if something happened to Dr. Gordon, I don't know what would happen to me, right? He was telling me he goes skiing. He's very athletic. He's run races before. When I first started getting my treatment, he told me when he asked what I did professionally, or I mentioned race announcing, he goes, I know exactly what you do. I have run the San Francisco half marathon. And I love that. And I think his athleticism is one of the reasons, besides his brilliance, that he and I were such a great match because he never once told me to stay home. When I came in sick after my first chemo for IV fluids or whatever help he could give me, he said, we need to get you on your feet. And you need to be ready for LA, for announcing LA Marathon. I think there's probably other doctors who would have tried to dissuade me, which wouldn't have been possible. But he's never done that. He is just proactive. Fitz Kohler, let's keep her doing the things that make her happy, that make her feel good. And that's health to him, right? So I love him. I don't know if that was an important part of the podcast, but I'm saying it. I love him. And he announced his retirement as stepping down as president on LinkedIn the other day. And my comment was, please, as long as you just stay my doctor, just retire from anything except from me. Because here's the deal. If he retires before my 10 years are up, I'm showing up at his house. I don't know exactly where he lives, but I do have his address. And I will show up there one day and be like, hey, talk to me. Squeeze my boobs. Look, that's right. That's what he does. He talks to me. He looks at my scans. He reads my lab work. And then he always says, can I do an exam? I say, sure, right? And so he does his exam, and then I feel great. He says, you look fantastic. I'll see you in a year. And you know what he said to me this time? It was very cute. He goes, stay cured. And I thought, well, that's a hashtag we could go with, hashtag stay cured. And I said, I will. I'm going to stay cured.
Are you looking for the perfect gift for a loved one battling cancer? The Cancer Comeback series by Fitz offers hope, inspiration, and practical guidance. With Your Healthy Cancer Comeback, My Noisy Cancer Comeback, and the Healthy Cancer Comeback Journal. These books are a lifeline for all patients and survivors. Right now, you can order autographed copies at a special discount. Show your support and help a loved one go from sick to strong. Visit fitzness.com today. That's FITZNESS.com. Fitzness.com.
Okay, so here's a totally separate other thing. And again, it's gossip, but I'm going to make you hear it because I think there's a good reason. I think there's something you can take from this. So whenever the Donna was over, so that was the first weekend of February. I think the Donna Marathon was February 1st. I left there wiped out, just absolutely exhausted, toast. And that makes total sense. I work my tail off. I work so hard. I wake up early. I stay up late. I host all the races, and then I speak during the day, and I do meet and greets at the expo, and then I host parties at night, and it's just go, go, go. Plus, it was icy cold. I mean, it's a very big weekend, and I would say all my marathon weekends are similar, but and then I run around. I don't do regular announcer stuff. You know, I'm not sitting in a booth saying blah, 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 good job. I am hunting people down, and I pour myself into it physically. So I come home and I am exhausted, just wasted. And I probably spend a day in bed trying to catch up, and then I get back into my life, but I don't recover. I just am not recovering. I'm so tired. It's just a weight that it's on my face, it's on my chest. I'm just exhausted. Now, mind you, I also have a long history with hypothyroidism, where that makes me tired too. And my dosage has had to be adjusted many times because I don't know why. I mean, definitely during chemo, my thyroid was all over the place. But since then, my primary care keeps track of me, and then she adjusts it as necessary. So I'm feeling exhausted, and in my mind, I'm just attributing it to the Donna. And then probably about 2 weeks later, I get up and I have this crazy pain in the left side of my torso. It's like under my left ribs or between my rib cage and my hip bone. And I'm thinking, what in the world did I do? Because to have a pain like this, one would think I would have had to have a moment where, let's say I was kickboxing. I picked up my leg and I banged the bag and, I felt something. Okay, that would be a reason for muscle spasms. Or I was doing some yoga with Ginger. We were doing hot yoga, and I thought maybe I overstretched. But either way, I've had this increasingly awful pain on the left side of my torso, my abdomen. And this is where it was weird, is because I do see a physical therapist every week, and I couldn't explain it to him. And I know what all the muscles are. I should be able to say it's my psoas, it's my QL, it's my obliques or whatever. But I kept saying it's right in there, and I don't know what it is. And so I think he at first suggested maybe it was psoas and then obliques. And then I was in such pain. A few days later, I hired my favorite massage therapist. I mean, you got to spend cash for that, right? But I was really in such pain that I thought, well, this is worth it. I need to go to Alex to get me out of this pain. So I go in there. He's digging around. He said, I think it's your obliques. And I'm squealing like a pig. I like massages deep. I like them hard. And I feel that it would be mighty productive to just get in there and work out whatever I'm dealing with. But Alex was saying, yeah, he goes, I think it's your obliques, but they just don't feel very bad. You know how massage therapists can feel if something is tight? He's saying, I don't feel anything too tight. And then I see Rob, my PT again, and he also was saying, it just doesn't make a lot of sense that you're in this much pain when the muscles don't feel too bad. But I have him digging in there. And again, I'm squealing and squirming. It's just kind of getting worse. Now, the fatigue is driving me mad. So last week I go in, I use an old order for a thyroid test, TSH, and that comes in, my thyroid's normal. And I thought, that's not true. And so when I saw Dr. Gordon the other day, I said, can you do a full lab work, get my thyroid, anything, because I am so exhausted. I took 3 naps in one day last week. When I tell you I'm exhausted, I am napping every single day, sometimes 2, sometimes 3 times, unable to recover. It's been a real issue. And then I had I announced Gasparilla like this. Thank God my body will do what I tell it to do. But I got into Gasparilla with pretty bad pain in my torso and extreme exhaustion. And so anyways, Dr. Gordon takes this blood panel and it comes back and it lists not only all the numbers, but it'll tell you where a certain number is high, certain things are low. And so it said monocytes were high. And monocytes are like your white blood cell. And the increased white blood cell tells you that your body's fighting in an infection. I was thinking, what could that be? I don't know what that is. Maybe that's related to my thyroid. It did say one of my thyroid numbers was low. And so that evening I was really excited to talk to my primary care who deals with my thyroid. And I told her what was going on because I finally got an appointment with her. We did telehealth. And I said, I'm so tired. And then I said, I have this oblique pain. And so she starts putting it together. She goes, I don't think it's your thyroid. Come in tomorrow and we're going to check your adrenals and your cortisol and whatever. So I got to go in again, 3rd blood draw in 1 week. And she takes that test and they also asked me to pee in the cup. So I pee in the cup. And then when I get home, they call and say, hey, just want to let you know your urine sample was inconclusive. I thought that meant I had to come back and do it again. She said, no, we're sending it out to a fancier lab for more culturing or I don't know, some more results. Okay. So I'm trying to figure this out, but I'm really hoping Dr. K looks at my lab work from Dr. Gordon because I see that there's a low thyroid number and I'm just thinking, give me more thyroid medicine. I'm so tired. Now, we're putting it all together. What the heck is going on with me? So I see my PT Rob yesterday and I start telling him what's going on. And he has his hands in my torso over on the left side. They call it the flank, in my flank. And I tell him the monocytes are high. And he says, well, is there a chance you have diverticulitis? That's little divots in your intestinal tract that sometimes a seed or, I don't know, some lettuce will get stuck in there and then it causes an inflammation. I said, I don't think so. And he goes, what about a UTI? And then all of a sudden, it started crystallizing, it started becoming clear to me. I said, I did this urine test and they said it was inconclusive. And he said, you could have a UTI, could be causing all this. And so I leave there and I get on the Google machine and I said, my monocytes are high and there's extreme exhaustion and there's severe pain. And mind you, it's severe pain. It hurts every time I stand, I walk, I turn. It's pretty bad. And then it says, could be UTI, could be kidney infection. I thought, oh, shit. Kidney infection? I don't want that. But I got a call from my doctor last night. Now, mind you, I think she's a genius. She's so ambitious and thorough. They missed it a little bit last night. So the medical provider, her medical assistant called me last night. She said, hey, just want to let you know, doctor reviewed your lab work and it's normal. And this is where I want you to hear. This is why we're going through all of this. I said, it's not normal. She goes, yeah, reviewed your lab work. It's normal. I said, that's not true. My monocytes are high. My thyroid is low. I have severe pain in my torso. And you said my urine test was inconclusive. And she goes, hold on, let me have her reviewed again. So the doctor comes back, reviews the paperwork, and then she reviews the urine sample. Apparently there were not blood I could see. Trust me, if I saw blood in my urine, I would definitely go to a doctor immediately. But there was blood and white blood cells in my urine. So ding, ding, ding. She put it all together on the spot, says, you have a kidney infection. We're calling you in Cipro right now, which is a very aggressive antibiotic. So anyways, hooray. I think we found the solution. I don't like having a kidney infection, but I like having a diagnosis and I like having hope that I will no longer feel so freaking exhausted. That's a big win. That's a big win that I kept pushing it until I finally got some freaking answers and hopefully a solution. So I'm only about 15 hours into this. So I'm hoping it's a kidney infection. If the pain doesn't go away, then they have to dig further. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But also I think how funny that for weeks now, I've been having these strong male therapists dig in and massage what is my kidney. My kidneys must be like, stop it. Stop. Get your hands off my poor kidneys. We have been digging on the kidneys for several weeks now. And yeah, I apologize, kidney. And please forgive me. Please don't be infected anymore. I've never in my whole life had a kidney infection, but apparently I do right now. Okay. So I just wanted you to know you have to read your own lab work. You have to gather the data and you have to advocate for yourself. If I would have said yesterday, oh, lab work's normal. Okay. Apparently a kidney infection, as it gets worse, can get into your bloodstream. It could kill you. There's a whole bunch of terrible things that could have happened to me if I would have accepted that response. And so don't be that person. Even if you don't feel like you're medically savvy, use the Google machine, use Chat GPT. You can say, okay, monocytes are high. What does that mean? You can copy and paste your lab work and put it into Chat GPT, and it may give you some answers. So I don't self-diagnose, but know that you can do some learning and then have more intelligent, more aggressive conversations with your medical professionals. And I did. I'm giving my doctor some grace over missing this because she's awesome in general. And maybe because I wasn't there and I don't know, whatever was going on was going on. Thank goodness that I advocated for myself. Thank goodness my PT is so insightful. But yeah, you have to advocate for yourself. And I'm 82% confident that Cipro is going to help. Now, Cipro, the antibiotic, could lead to tendon rupture, so I have to be careful not to do squat jumps and things like that, especially your Achilles. Your Achilles becomes quite vulnerable with this type of antibiotic, but it's most important to get rid of the kidney infection. So I'm just going to be cautious with my workouts. And then here's the other thing I want you to know. So when I posted on Instagram, and I think most of you probably saw it, I posted on Facebook too, about my good news with my doctor appointment. And I said, blah, blah, blah. I'm glitching. I'm fine. I want you to know I'm fine. And then I put in there, no prayer hands, please. I want you to know that I love that you root for me and I love your support. I loathe the prayer hands, and not because praying is bad. They make me feel like a victim. We talk about glitching. When people start saying, I'm praying for you and stuff, my body goes into this very ugly place. And so I'm a weirdo. I don't wear pink ribbons. They also make me feel like a victim. I, I, I don't reject your love and support, but those things are very uncomfortable for me. And I know so many of you wonderful people are deep Christian or Jewish or whatever you are, and you like to pray. And I love that for you. And I appreciate it. But please don't ever tell me you're praying for me. Oh, it makes me feel so less than. I know I should just feel loved and supported, but it makes me feel like a victim. And so that's my own little crutch to bear. I see them and I have to take a deep breath and think they don't know any better. They don't know. They don't know I feel this way. So I'm telling you because you guys are my besties that I gossip to, for crying out loud, for hours each week on the podcast. So yeah, the prayers, isn't that weird that I glitch when someone says I'm praying for you? I think, no, save them for the people who really need it. And even when I was really sick, it made me uncomfortable when people would say that, because I guess it just pointed out that I wasn't whole or I wasn't strong, or I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. I probably need a therapist. Instead, I'm going to go for a walk with my dogs and therapize myself. But yeah, no more prayer hands towards Fitz Kohler. Please and thank you. Yet you can love me so hard and I will love you all the way back. All right, that concludes the gossip. Now you know what you need to know. And yeah, don't pray for my damn kidney. Just probably give you an update in a future episode saying kidneys are good. We're all great. But yeah, advocate for yourself. That's it. Be involved in your diagnosis. And then if you don't believe you're getting the right answers, go get a second opinion. All right, now we're on to questions. Are you ready for that? Are you ready to stop talking about me and my nonsense? Sure you are. Okay. So this is a great question. Mark Brunswick, thank you for sending it. And they're all kind of in the same category, which is why I pulled these questions to talk about together. So he says, without a personal trainer, how do I know if my form is right? So that's very important. The reason we talk about proper form and fitness is so you don't injure yourself, right? Your body was designed to move in certain ways. If you move the wrong way, perhaps you can cause more harm than good. And so proper body alignment, as they say, if you're standing up, would be toes pointed forward, soft knees. Soft knees are knees that are not locked out stiff. If you soften your knees just a little bit, everything else works a little bit better, right? Soft knees, soft hips. You're not pelvis forward, thrusting out. You're soft. You're about 95% at full extension on your knees and your hips. And then with your shoulders a little bit forward. And when we do that, we put those shoulders slightly forward. If you are lifting weights, say you're doing military press, which is pushing your arms above your head, or doing bicep curls, you are less likely to arch your back. Now, the spinal column in general is a series of vertebrae with discs in between. Your spinal cord runs through. Those discs ideally will maintain even pressure. If you can keep even pressure on those discs, they are less likely to herniate or slip. And so we want to keep those discs nice and healthy. If, for example, you have your knees, you're going to do bicep curls, but you've got your knees locked out, your hips locked out, and you're lifting too much weight, and now you're swinging forward and back. You're curling and your shoulders are rocking back and forward. Each time you rock back, all the weight from your dumbbells are squishing on the back portion of your disc, right? Those vertebrae are coming together. Squish! And they're more likely to either erupt or slide forward. And we don't want that. We want to protect those discs and keep them in the right place. So if you can maintain proper form standing upright, then you are less likely to put uneven pressure on those discs, causing damage, right? We want to keep our spinal column and all the things involved in the spinal column in order, because back pain can be debilitating, and back surgeries, even though they've come a long way and they're doing better things, aren't always successful. And so protecting those discs is paramount. And if you maintain proper form and you're not hurting any of the discs in your back from your head, that's right, your skull, your cervical vertebrae, all the way down to your tailbone, then you're more likely to remain healthy and strong and keep going in the right direction. The other things we look for when we're talking about proper form is protecting our joints, right? So that full lockout of knees can't be good for you. Locking out your hips and arching, not good for you. So we do want to protect our joints. And so that forward alignment, toes pointed forward, soft knees, soft hips, shoulders rolled just slightly, like 3% forward, they go a long way. Now, can you take both toes and point them out to the side and do a squat and be fine? Absolutely. But you don't want to put one toe in and one toe out and torque your body in weird ways. We would like to keep our body, it's just in alignment. I hope you get what I'm saying when I say that. You also want to move in a direction where you're not putting excess force on your knees, for example. And so when we're doing squats, we try to keep the knees from jutting over your toes. Because you know what happens? Let's say you have a 50-pound barbell on your back and you go to squat. If you are squatting with your knees forward, all of your weight is now in that most forward point on your body. All the weight, the added weight, is going to your knees. Ouch, that's not good. So instead, when we squat, we sit back and we try to alleviate the amount of stress going on your knees. You don't squat to build up your knee. That's not happening. You're squatting to build up your glutes and your quads. And so we sit backwards into a squat and then stand up. We don't jut forward over the knees. And we will be right back. My brand new book, You Supercharge, the exact formula for fitness, weight loss, and longevity, is out right now and has something for everybody. Ladies, chapter Full Throttle Femininity is dedicated to all the things you think you can't control, including menopause, weight loss, maintaining muscle mass, building bone density, and earning yourself a vajayjay of steel. Guys, chapter Man Mode was written just for you. You'll learn how to combat menopause, tune up your ticker, banish a beer belly for good, maximize your muscles, and earn the most powerful pecker on the planet. From the ground on up, from the inside and out, let's supercharge your body and mind and make you unstoppable. Order signed copies of You Supercharged at fitzness.com in the United States, Amazon, everywhere else. We're back. There's another great question that was lumped in. How do I fight? What is the proper form for planks? I always feel like I'm doing them wrong. Same thing for planks. So we're looking for that straight-ish line from your cervical spine down to your tailbone. Now, know this, your spine is not a straight line. It's kind of curvy in various places. And so you don't have to be straight as a board, but can you line yourself up so your shoulders and your hips and your heels are mostly in alignment? The answer is yes. Try not to allow your tummy or your hips to sag forward. And if you're sagging, that's negating the purpose of the plank, which is for you to work your abdominal muscles, right? Your core muscles. And you do that by bringing your button in towards your spinal column and holding yourself upright. If you sag at all, you're actually not getting the benefit of a plank. And so just holding that alignment, shoulders, hips, and heels will go a long way with your plank. The same thing goes for bridges. When you're doing a bridge, which you lie on the ground, you tuck your heels in towards your rear end, you lift up your knees, you're trying to get a straight-ish line from your shoulders, your hips, your knees. And so, yeah, that's what we do. Also, our neck, please, unless you are strength training your neck, gently putting resistance as you move from side to side, forward and back, try to keep your chin forward and not tucked into your chest as you're doing any exercise. So I hope that made sense to you. It's kind of hard to show it to you, to tell you about it without showing it to you, but I believe we're all on the same page. But proper form is very important. Again, to me, it all comes down to the spinal column and the joints, and there's probably a few other things in there that could go wackadoo without proper form, but it's necessary. And so that means proper form first. And if you're lifting so much weight that you cannot maintain proper form, then you lift less weight. That's okay. That is absolutely okay. In fact, it's ideal because are you strengthening your bicep if you have to use your entire torso to rock back to get that weight up? No, your bicep's not getting the benefit of that. All you're doing is risking the discs in your spine. And so lift the proper amount that is challenging to you, but you can always maintain proper form. Great question. Thank you. I like talking about that. Okie dokie. How do I hit abs without looking bulky in the stomach? From Aurelio. So that's a great question. Our abdominal muscles are broken into three different parts. There's your rectus abdominis, your obliques, and your transverse abdominis. And so we work those three different parts equally. The rectus is worked when you crunch forward. So any sort of forward crunch works your rectus abdominis. Your obliques make kind of a X across your torso. And so we work the obliques by rotating shoulder to the opposite hip and we crunch forward. And then we work our transverse abdominis by doing stationary exercises such as planks, right? Where you're holding, you're tucking that belly button into your spine. That's the visualization. That's how you work your transverse abdominis. So if we're watching a bodybuilding competition, we will see athletes with their tummies jutting forward. Now, normally when we're doing ab work, it's because we're trying to cinch our waist, right? We're trying to get flat abs and maybe a more defined waistline. That's what abdominal training usually leads to if you're combining it with quality eating habits, right? If you are eating to be a lean person and shedding extra fat, abdominal work will snatch that waist. We like that. If you are wildly aggressive about it, and I say wildly aggressive, meaning you are pumping up the protein and the creatine, and you are not just doing crunches, you are lifting plates while crunching, while hanging off the Roman chair. That's when your abdominals start to bulk up. And that's why we see bodybuilders with a protruding abdomen of muscle. They have that has been a goal of theirs. They have accomplished that through their dramatic efforts in bodybuilding. So know this, most folks who are doing challenging ab work, challenging core training, planks, and eating wisely, you don't have to worry about your stomach area, your torso, your abdominals jutting forward because of your ab training. If you're gaining space in your torso, it's possibly because you're gaining weight. But those abdominal muscles that actually protrude and jet out, they are designed that way by bodybuilders. They have been working on that, or other athletes. Sometimes we see professional football players or collegiate football players, these strong, ripped men, and maybe their abdominals are jutting forward. That's because they're doing an outlandish amount of work and that's the results they're getting. But I don't know how many of my listeners are doing all that stuff. I mean, you might be. Message me if you are. We can have a conversation. And maybe you want to have those hard abdominals jutting forward. Look at me. I prefer my abs to be nice and flat and my waist to be tight. And I've accomplished a lot of that via all the stuff we just talked about, which are those crunches and those planks and the exact formula for weight loss. It actually works. Holy mackerel. And if you combine the formula with strength training, my Lord, you are going to have incredible results. You're going to be excited. I make no bones about it. In fact, I should be fairly enthusiastic about my own results yeah, I see a difference in my waistline after I'm strength training aggressively. Once I came back from the cancer stuff and it was all strength, strength, strength for me, I've seen wonderful changes in my body that I'm really excited about. And yeah, I hope you make changes that you get excited about too, because why not? Right? It feels good to feel good. It feels great to look good. And when your body is performing well, holy smokes, you put it all together and that's miraculous. Okay. This is another wonderful, wonderful question. Why should I do cardio if I'm already hitting weights? Because your heart and lungs are vital to survival. That's why. Strength training makes your muscles more powerful. It increases your ability to lift, press, push, pull against resistance. Cardiovascular training makes your heart and your lungs stronger. If you would like to breathe deeper, more comfortably, if you would like your heart to be able to pump oxygen throughout your body without complication, cardio. If you would like to have no stamina, if you would like to suck wind, walking short distances or climbing a flight of stairs, then by all means, skip cardio, but don't. That pillar of fitness is just vital, as are all pillars of fitness. So your strength, necessary. I love that you're doing strength. That's so great. That was Broken Q on Reddit. That was a great question, Broken Q. But yeah, cardio matters, flexibility matters, balance matters. And if you are so foolish as to be the person to say, well, I don't need to do that. I don't need to focus on that one pillar of fitness. I'm thin, so I don't need to do cardio. You're lying to yourself. I am so fit. I don't need to do balance training. You're lying to yourself. One day you will fall down and you'll break something and you'll think, damn it, Fitz was right. And so all four pillars of fitness matter. And yeah. Okay, Linda from Gasparilla, that's where she's from. It says, best exercises to hit glutes. So your glutes operate in two ways. They bring your legs backwards and they move your legs to the side. And so anything that brings your legs backwards, so you think squat down, working your glutes is the standing up portion where you're pushing back, extending that leg and bringing your legs out to the side. That also works your glutes. So squats, lunges. If you are on what's that chair called? Golly, I feel like I should know this, but if you're on that apparatus where you tuck your legs in and then you hang forward and then you hoist your body up into a flat plank position, you're working your glutes and your low back. Lateral gait, moving sideways. Most people, I would say most people on earth have very weak glute medius. That's the part of their glutes that lifts your legs sideways and rotates your hips to the side or those legs to the side. Most folks are weak in that area because we do not naturally move sideways against resistance. It's not in our typical pattern of movement. And because of that, we're typically weak. And let me ask you this. Do you ever crab walk up a hill? You stand there, I'm going up, so I'm going to go crab walk to the side. Most people just walk, they go forward. People are far more likely to go backwards than they are to crab walk against resistance. And so in order to have strong glute medius, and the benefit of a strong glute medius, let me tell you, is that it reduces pain in your low back. It reduces pain in your knees. If you have knee pain, and especially if you're a runner, it's likely due to a weak glute medius. So you strap a resistance band around your ankles, one of the kind that looks like a rubber band, and then you just move sideways. You move sideways, go 10 steps to the right, 10 steps to the left, and do it a few times. All of a sudden that burn will kick in and you're making progress. Do that every other day. It's a very important part of my strength training for runners program, which you can find right on the cover of fitzness.com. But yeah, we're squatting. Squats are squats, whether we're standing up or we're sitting on a machine with our feet on a board pressing out. That's still a squat. If we're using, there's the hack squat. There's squats are squats. You bring your knees to your chest. You extend your legs into a straight position. bringing your heels, hips, and shoulders in alignment, that's a squat. No matter how you're doing it, whether you're sitting or you're standing, that's a squat. If you do lunges, that's a great way to work your glutes and quads and balance, right? Anytime your feet are separated like that, it starts working your balance. If you add weight, you'll see a little more of that. You take a big step, you squat or you drop down on the back knee, and you might feel some wobble. That's your feet, your knees, your hips, your torso engaging. It's great for balance. What else? I mean, golly, there's so many great machines at my gym. Most gyms are branching out now, but there's ones where you hold the squat. So you hold on to the bar, you squat down, you've got pads on the outside of your knees, and then you abduct, which is bring your knees apart in that squatting position. Holy smokes, that's a really good one. And then there's some hip and glute machines where you just put your foot on a pad and you kick backwards, that donkey kick motion. Again, it's still bringing your leg backwards. So mix it up. Doing basic squats with the air is great. Doing a basic squat with dumbbells, great. Or a weighted vest, great. Doing a hack squat on the machine, wonderful. I like to mix things up by increasing the deepness of my squat. So I put 2 plyo boxes next to each other or 2 Bozus, which pull me maybe 8 to 12 inches off the ground. I grab a kettlebell and then I squat. And so the kettlebell doesn't just hit the earth, it goes below. So I get a deeper squat. I get a nice deep squat with my butt back, my knees not poking over my toes. And that has seemingly made a much bigger difference in my glute muscles. So it's all the same motion, but you can work this body part in different ways. And I think you should. Squats, lunges, donkey kicks, lateral raise, chicken wings. You put those resistance bands around your thighs and lift your knees up. Go to my YouTube channel. It's Fitzness on YouTube. And then you'll see it'll say workout playlist or free workout playlist, something of that nature. And then you can just go through and pick out whichever workouts you want to do. There are some that'll say biceps and shoulders or alphabet shoulders or 2-minute plank or 6-minute plank or squat 360s or, oh my gosh, there's so many. So work out with me and then take the exercises you learn. Either bring me with you to the gym or on your cell phone or work out in your garage or your living room with me, or take my book, You Supercharged. It's got over 300 photos designed to teach you how to exercise. So you can take those with you too. Okay. That is wrapping up the gossip. That is wrapping up the Q&A. My communication tip of the week. I think this is a good one. And I've been using it on my poor family and friends for a long time. But tell people to tell you why they love you. And so I use this against my children quite often, especially my son. He'll want me to do something for him, a favor. Say, all right, well, you have to give me 3 reasons why you love me so much. And sometimes he'll say, you have nice pants. And I'll say, no, that doesn't cut it. I need you to tell me why you love me. And so then he'll say, oh, because you're sweet and you're funny or whatever it is. But I do this to all sorts of people. And it's just great. It makes me happy and it's fun. And then often I reciprocate and I'll tell them X amount of reasons why I love them. But yeah, start doing that to people. Harass the people around you. Tell me why you think I'm great. 3 reasons, and then I will pour you a drink or I will drive you here or there, whatever it is, especially if you have children. Try it on them. It works every time, but it's very fun and funny and it makes me happy. And I've been doing it their whole life and I will continue on, but I do it to other people too, not just my children. And then your workout song of the week. This is going to be your cool down song. And it's an old favorite, so you're going to thank me for it. But cooling down, stretching, whatever, when you're taking it easy, it's If You Leave, the famous 80s song by Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. You got to have it. It's to remind you of a John Hughes 80s movie. But yeah, if you leave, don't look back. Don't do it. All right, that's it. That's it for the Fitzness Show. Remember, advocate for yourself medically, be informed, be a snoop, speak up for yourself. Don't let anybody give you prayer hands. Don't let anybody do it. I love you so much. Get to work. Bye, team. Mwah!
Hi, this is Rudy Novotny, the voice of America's Marathons. We all love how much running has benefited every aspect of our lives, so much so that most of us only wish we'd started sooner. Wouldn't it be wonderful to gift the opportunity to children of today? Well, you can. The Morning Mile is a before-school walking and running program that gives children the chance to start each day in an active way while enjoying fun, music, and friends. That's every child, every day. It's also supported by a wonderful system of rewards, which keeps students highly motivated and frequently congratulated. Created by our favorite fitness expert, Fitz Kohler, Morning Milers across the country have run over 2 million miles and are having greater success with academics, behavior, and sports because of it. The Morning Mile is free to the child, free to the school, and is inexpensively funded by businesses or generous individuals. Help more kids get moving in the morning by visiting morningmile.com. Champion the program at your favorite school or find out more about sponsorship opportunities. That's morningmile.com. Long may you run.